guys. So, so good. You know, God's not worried about awkward pauses in life. Just waiting. So, we wait on the Lord. So, as I spoke at the beginning of the night, who was here last week and heard about and saw the journey I've been on with David before and my kids, log jams, scaling rocks, and of course, when you preach a message like that, the enemy's like, right? Did anybody hit, I asked this earlier, but I didn't get much response. Who hit log jams this week?
Yeah.
Okay, glad I'm not the only one. So I hit some log jams this week. And, man, log jams are hard, are they not?
Yeah.
And I just, this week, got to this point by the Friday where I just was heavy. Anybody else get heavy when you hit log jams, right?
Yes.
And I got lonely. Does anybody get lonely when they're climbing a log jam? They feel like they're by themselves, right? And just all these things were coming on me, and I was just like, this is not who I am. Like, what in the world? And the Lord started reminding me about how when that happens in our life, when we hit things, our tendency in life, and as human beings who are part of the fall, our tendency is to start to try to cover what we're experiencing. So we start to experience that heaviness, and we're like, I'm going out to do something exciting, right? Because I need a rush. I need something to make me happy.
That's right.
Right? Because we're like, I need to feel good. I need the feels, because this is too heavy. And so we go out and try to fix that feeling. Or we have that feeling of loneliness come in, and we run out. And we're like, where's people? People, where's people? But we spend time with people, and we realize when we're spending time with them, wait, this still isn't taking that feeling away. Right? Or we get home after spending that time and you're like, oh, crap. Here it is again, that feeling of loneliness. And this week, I was so there. And last Sunday, one of my friends, Melissa, I think she's up in nursery right now, but she messaged me on Monday morning, and she said, Reagan, during worship, this is last Sunday, during worship, I had a vision. And she said, and I was walking up a mountain, and it was really hard. And when she started talking, it reminded me of the log jam, when we hit the log jam. And she said, it was really hard, and I was just like, man, Lord, how long is this going to be hard? And then the Lord came into her vision and handed her a walking stick to make the journey easier. And that was it. That's all she shared with me. And all week, when I hit my hard things, when I hit my log jams, I kept seeing the Lord doing the same thing to me, reaching out that walking stick. And I just stopped one day and I was like, okay, I see the walking stick, Lord. But what is it? Because that's great and all in a vision to see it. But what does that mean to me right now in this moment when I'm experiencing all this stuff and I just can't get away from it? What is the walking stick? And it didn't even occur to me until yesterday morning, because y'all know when we're in our stuff, like, we can't see out, right? And finally yesterday the Lord just was calling me to spend time with him, and I went out in my backyard in a new little spot that we kind of, ever since the drought, our backyard is like dead. Like dead. It's not pretty. and you don't like want to go outside because it's dusty. My dog poops out there, dusty poop. It's just bad. And so I'm out there, but we made this one little spot because I was like, I don't want to put grass in again because that is just too hard to keep up, and our yard's big. And so we made this one spot where we put some gravel in and stuff, and so I was like, I'm going to go sit there. So I'm sitting there, and I just all of a sudden feel the Lord's presence come in a way I hadn't felt all week. And as I was sitting there, he said, look around, Reagan. And I start looking around my yard, and what do I see? I see weeds. Lots of them. And not just any weeds, but these weeds. Like, that's bad. This is actually quite embarrassing that I'm showing you guys how big our weeds have gotten. But this is one of our, there it was before I took it down. So, welcome into my head for a minute. I've seen these so many times in my backyard that I have started to think to myself, these are beautiful trees. I don't know if y'all can clap in a minute. So, I'm all, these are beautiful. And I start, like one day, I even told Emma, because Emma's a gardener and stuff, and she's like, you really need to pull those out. And I was like, but they're beautiful. And she's like, they're weeds. And I was like, oh, right. And as I was sitting there, the Lord started showing me, Reagan, when did the weeds get beautiful?
A while ago.
When did they stop annoying you and then they became beautiful to you?
Oh, yes, Lord, yes.
Because see, it's like that in our lives. That weeds start growing in our heart. And they start growing, and then they start getting bigger, and they're really taking over. And we really start to see, wow, my mood's changing. I'm uglier to people when I talk to them. I have less patience. And these weeds just keep growing in our life. And then at some point or another, we're just like, screw it. These are beautiful.
Wow. Yes.
So all that noise is because y'all relate.
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Because those things in our life, all of a sudden we go, but that's me.
Woo. Yes.
But that's how I was born. Isn't it beautiful? Oh, you don't like it? Get a new life. Get a new friend. We do this. And I'm looking at this weed and God's going, what are we going to do? And I'm all, we're getting it out. Right? And he starts speaking to me about pain in our life. And how those weeds start growing because pain comes in our life and we allow something to grow in that place.
That's right.
When pain comes in. And see, the Bible talks a lot about roots. And the Bible talks about it matters what roots are being planted in your heart. It matters. It really matters. Because whatever is planted is what will grow. And whatever grows is the reality of who you are. No matter how pretty you try to make the weed. And see, God actually uses pain in our life to be an indicator. I think about it every time I'm in my car and a light goes on. Right? What does that mean? Something's wrong with my car. Hi, Kimberly.
Check it out.
Been thinking about you. Pain is an indicator in our life. Like there's a dashboard to our life, and God's all, oil check, right? And sometimes we don't check the oil. We didn't check the oil one time in one of our cars. Do you all know what happens when you don't do it? It blows up. The engine. The engine blew up. Like we had to get a whole new engine because the car wasn't being cared for. And the Lord has reminded me that when we don't care for and tend to the soil of our heart and what's being planted, then we'll blow up. We will. It's a matter of time. And so I went and got a shovel in the middle of my peaceful time with the Lord, and I'm all, oh no, this is happening now.
That's right.
And as I go in with the shovel, I start going at this thing. And I just start talking to the Lord. I'm like, okay, what is it? Why has this loneliness crept into me? Where did this heaviness come from? And I sat with that. As I'm not sat, my heart sat with it. I'm still chomping, okay? And I pull this thing out. And y'all can see the bottom. Do y'all see a root? No. There's no root, right? No root. Guess what? It's really hard to get roots. Has anybody ever tried to get a big old root out? Right? It is really hard to get roots. See, some of them in my yard, I'm going along and I'm like pulling. Okay, one of them, I pulled with both hands and all my strength and I fell over, okay? And I was like, well, this is comical, Lord. And he's like, yeah. This was also figurative. It's crazy. Get out and touch some dirt and watch what happens. I don't even like dirt. So I'm pulling, and I get to this one, and I'm like, I cannot get this root out. It is still there. Which to me says, God and I still have more work to do. Because see, some roots take time to come out. And there's something really deep in me that I know God's going after right now. And I believe that there's really deep things in you that God is going after. But see, it takes time. See, we live in a society that's quick fix, quick fix, quick fix. I want food, I want it now. Fast food. Why is this line taking so long? It's called fast food for a reason. And we get up there and we're angry, right? We're all, can't y'all get more workers here? When you've only been in the place 5 minutes? Come on. But that is how the enemy has trained us. Because if he can train us to get a quick fix, then he'll keep us going and going and going and going, where the word says, wait upon the Lord and he will renew your strength. See, the word says, be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. I found a few verses on those roots. Hebrews 12:15 says, see to it that no one fails to obtain the grace of God, that no root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble, and by it many become defiled. This is talking about the soil of our hearts. See to it that you don't fail to obtain the grace of God. Amen. See to it. So that no root of bitterness springs up and causes trouble. See, the wrong roots will spring up and will cause trouble in your life. But God says, but you can have my grace instead. You can have roots of love and grace in you. See, as I look around my yard, we have not tended to our yard. It is ugly. And the Lord was showing me, this is what happens when you don't tend to your heart. When you don't sit with Him and allow there. There's another verse, Colossians 2:6-7. Therefore, as you have received Christ Jesus the Lord, so walk in him, rooted and built up in him. See, when you're rooted in him, you will be built up into him. And established in the faith, just as you were taught, abounding in thanksgiving. See, the Lord reminded me this week when I was heavy. He said, Reagan, what are you thankful for? See, those other roots had been growing, and I had lost sight of thanksgiving. But when the other root is growing, when I'm rooted and established in him, and I'm pressing down into that root, saying, Lord, then thanksgiving will come up. That's what the word tells us. In Matthew 15:13, it says, this is Jesus, he answered them, every plant that my heavenly Father has not planted will be rooted up. But see, here, he's actually talking about one day things will get uprooted. And you can allow him to do it now in your heart. Or one day, we will all be before him and we will see what was not planted in good soil.
That's right.
Oh, the roots of our heart. See, this week as I started on this journey with the Lord of what is this root, I was like, Lord, this does not feel good. Right? It doesn't feel good to look at this stuff. And the Lord started bringing to me over and over Psalm 23.
Yes.
And I don't know if y'all know it, but it goes like this. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. For you are with me. Your rod and your staff, they comfort me. And see, I got to this point and it hit me like a ton of bricks. There's my walking stick. Though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Because his rod and his staff do what?
Comfort me.
Comfort me. I don't know about you all, but the valley of the shadow of death is gnarly.
Yeah.
Has anybody ever felt like, I feel like I'm in the valley of the shadow of death?
Yeah. Yes.
Right? So look at what David is saying in this psalm. He's saying, when I am at that place, it is your rod and your staff that comfort me. And the Lord started talking to me and he said, Reagan, I want to be there in the valley. And I want to be there in the mountaintop with you. And I am the same in both. See, so much of the time, even we can come to church on Sunday nights and we're like, yeah, he's awesome! And then we walk out the door and we go face a log jam and we're all, he's forsaken me. Where is he now? And he's like, I'm the same.
Yep.
I am the same as when you were there and I'm the same as where you're here. When we went back to Tennessee and Kentucky about a month ago, we went to my grandparents' farm. And my grandpa is a shepherd of sheep. And as I was there, I was moved watching him. He took us on his farm. I have a picture of one of the farm pictures. So that's my grandpa next to me there. And this is all of us lined up because he said, well, let's go on and see the sheep. But see, here's what happened when we got on to where the sheep are. They all scattered because they don't know us. See, to them, we're enemies. So the enemy was coming in and they run. Isn't that what we do? We feel the enemy coming in. We feel things getting uncomfortable. And we run. And we're all, where's our comfort? Where's our comfort? See, they ran into the barn where their comfort was. Oh, there they are in the barn. But see, something happened when my grandpa started speaking. They started peeking their heads out. Because they're hearing their shepherd's voice. They start peeking their head out. They're like, is that really him? Is he really with those people? And see, what the Lord was reminding me of is, though darkness comes, and I flee into those things, that stuff, God is right there. And I can choose to listen to those things. I can choose to listen to the enemy's voice, or I can tune my ear in and go, where are you, Lord? Is that you I hear? Is that you I hear? See, when you're in a crowded place, if you want to hear someone across the room, do you start yelling at them when you're in a crowd? No, if you really want to talk to them, you run up and you go near to them, right? If there's a crowded room and you're looking for someone, aren't you like this? Right? See, that's what the sheep are doing. They're all, I hear, where is he? I know he's here. I know he's here. Where is he? Where's the shepherd? Where's Papa? Where is my real safe place? Where is my hiding place? Where is my refuge? Where is my strong tower? See, this showed me such a picture of it's okay. It is okay to be in a broken place. And so many of us run from that broken place because it's scary. And all those voices are there. But see, God is there. And He wants to show you things you have never seen before. And He wants to do things in your heart that you've never dreamed before. Because if you notice in Psalm 23, it starts out, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. That hits me every time, because I want all day long, every day. Can I get an amen? Amen. Just make sure y'all wait. We want. And the Lord says, I am your shepherd, and when I am your shepherd, you shall not want. Amen. When you choose to grab my walking stick, when you choose to be in that broken place and say, okay, Lord, show me the weeds. Go after them. Go after the weeds of my heart. Rip out the ones that do not belong. Then He will rush in. And see, it's actually a very sweet place to be. And I actually feel like I experience more intimacy with Him in the broken place most of the time than I do in the high place. See, something happens even when I'm with my husband and I'm having a hard day, right? And I'm like, I just gotta cry. Because this is gnarly life. And something happens when His arms come in and hold me while I cry. Yes. Something happens when my kids are broken and they're running to me. And I run to them and pull them into my arms. An intimacy happens that does not otherwise happen. But it's the very thing that we try so hard to to stay away from. That's why the Lord tells us over and over, it's in your weakness that I am strong. Lay down. He's a shepherd that makes you lay down. Some of you have been laid down and you get right back up. And he's all, okay, back down again. And you're all, right? Not me. And he's all, like over and over. He's all, stay down, would you? Because when you get back up, I will pick you up and you will rise up into new things. God wants to fulfill you. He wants to be your only desire. I want him to be my only desire. And what I have seen this week is how much my thoughts of what man thinks about me drives me. And I'm done with it. And if I have to be broken for a season to let him root that up out of me, then yes, Lord. We are living in days that we cannot waste our time. We are living in a time that we need to not be worried about what man thinks.
Here we go.
We are living in a time that we need to be concerned only with what my God thinks about me.
Yeah.
Because I read about the Acts Church and I am still convicted every day as I read it.
That's right.
How are they persecuted and they're not crying out, Lord, save me from this. They're crying out, give me more boldness. Give me more courage.
Yes.
See, when I face a trial, I'm like, Lord, get me out. They're in a trial where they're going to die. And they're saying, Lord, give me more love. Give me more boldness. Give me more of you. Y'all are fighters. I'm in a room of fighters. And I know it because you made it this far in life.
That's right.
Right.
And I know y'all have faced things that I could not even imagine. But see, all of that is not in you for you to keep falling over and over. See, what the enemy intended for evil in your life, God will work for good.
Yes.
And he needs fighters. He needs people that when they are faced with their sister or their brother or their neighbor coming at them in their face, that they sit there and they say, Lord, give me love for them.
Yes.
That is a real fight. Because fighting back is weak.
That's right.
A real fight is when we dig down deep and we say, I am made for more than this. The real fight is when we don't give in to the world.
That's right.
The real fight is when the enemy is in our face saying, you're this, you're that. We say back, I know who I am. I am a child of God. And I am in a place where I don't have time anymore to worry about what man thinks.
That's right.
And I am in a time and place where I know I have to set aside time to be with my Papa.
That's right.
Because I need him to root out anything that is not of him.